Okay, so we are now live. This is the first early morning stream for the game engine that I am doing. I missed one yesterday, so my wife had an idea that do two today, and I'll do one in the morning then, and I'll do one in the sort of afternoon, like about 3 o'clock. Then I'll bang out another one not long after, about 5 o'clock, for the gameplay live stream. So there'll be two game engine coding live streams today to make up for yesterday, because I like the routine of making sure I do one on a daily basis. And let's just do an announcement that we're live. Okay, so the Sprite and text. I'll just copy this. Be a lot easier, a lot quicker, and a lot more accurate. Okay, so one more thing to do. Grab the thing from there. Boom, done. Send. And let's publish it as well. Or we can just use this button, doesn't really matter which one. Boom, done. Okay, so what we was doing the Sprite class and the texture class. So let me open up the project. So we was on documents. I really need a new C drive. I've had this C drive since 2011. It's 128 gig one. Corsair Force GT, I believe it is. I think it's the Corsair Force GT. There might be the USB stick out, but it's a Corsair one. I remember this red one. Going off on a tangent, but yeah, that's the one. You know, it's the 128 gig one. And back then, that cost a fair bit of money. That did. I think that was like 150, 200 quid. Obviously, you know, it's just price was obviously more expensive because they were newer back then. But yeah, this is the one I've got. I'm just been rocking that same one. I remember at the time I was like, should I go 120? Should I go like 160? Should I go 240? I was like, the other one was quite a bit more money. I was like, even the 120 was a fair bit of money, and I was like, oh, I'll go 120. Obviously now I'd make sure the primary one is always a terabyte, but I'm always struggling with that 120 gig. You know, really, I just want to do a whole new build and just reserve this as a server. Won't be yet. I might do that when get my own house, just renting at the moment. When I do that, I might end up building and doing a new build. I'll see. Because when I do, I want to make sure it's quite a beastly build. Because this one was a beastly build in terms of spec and price, and it's lasted. Apart from the graphics card, and obviously I did a bit more, storage. But the storage I don't really count as sort of the performance side of it. It just needed more storage. But apart from the graphics card, this hardware is a decade old for the most part. I did upgrade the RAM recently. That was just because after a Windows update, it started crashing for VR stuff just because too much RAM was getting used. But for the most part, the CPU side of it had lasted. Tushan can't say hi. Hello. So let's open up the documents. GitHub. Here we go. Some headphones here. I'm gonna put these away. They've just been out here for a while. I used to use them during my not my live stream, during my game engine coding stuff, but that was when I wasn't doing live streams. I would whack them on, whack some music on, some concentration music, and I would do that. Okay, we're gonna get a bunch of errors here. We're gonna get error for that, for this, I believe. And I'm gonna give it a build. Get all the errors. Oh. That's a problem right there. Let's say texture. Ball reset rect. You don't have it here. Can I even access that? So if I was to say underscore texture dot reset, let me see what that reset rect even does. So if I go to the original, oh, we just need some SFML. I'm gonna close this stuff now. SFML, the GitHub page, and it is the texture stuff. So when the set texture method, that's the header file. Let's go over to source, graphics, texture. I don't know where that's from then. I do not know, so we can get rid of that. Oh no, that's not what we're meant to be doing. Okay, so we gotta set texture. Where is all the set texture? Do I even have that set texture? I don't believe I do I? So I want to grab this and put it here. That's that done. And this one, we are going to pass in text is undefined. Oh, it's undefined because, no. What am I doing? Why would it need to be in here? So let's see how we're going to do this. Yes, we could set the texture like that as well. So if I go to Sprite, and if I was to, it needs to be implemented here, which we have not done yet, but we will very, very soon. So this was a Sprite class, not the texture class. So let's go back to Sprite, reset rect. Okay, so if reset rect, texture, if there's no texture, okay, that's the local texture, and texture rect equals interact. Why default? Let's put that back in reset rect. Const reset rect, because when we so in here we'll have the two methods for this. And obviously the Sprite in only because I don't have that texture stuff included. yeah, that's the other thing I want to see about the let me open up another one for just for the include. So if I go to include and I go to graphics, yeah, also I don't know who's viewing this at this time, so that you'll be interested. So people are viewing, that's good, but I'm guessing it's probably a slightly different audience than to the ones I would have in about 8 to 12 hours. I'm assuming it's probably more people from the east than the west side of the world. Again, I might be wrong, it might be the same sort of people that's still viewing it, but I thought it'd be interesting just to know that. Still an instance of texture here. Interesting. Okay, so let's do this. Graphics, texture, here we go. Okay, so now that we've got the texture here, that error at the very least should disappear. That error will not. That is fine. We'll implement these now. So create implementation, and here we are going to say underscore texture dot load from file, and it is a file path. Okay. Now if I do underscore sprite dot get texture, that's not what I want anyway. So that loads that. Then we do underscore sprite dot set texture, and this equals underscore texture, the texture that we've just created. That reset rect wouldn't usually be used unless, so we would say if it's true, that's an in there is where we just pass it here, like so. That's where we're going to pass it. And by default, I believe it was always false, wasn't it? So if we go back onto here, I just want to confirm that it was false by default. Yes. Okie dokie. So now we've got that, we need to do something pretty similar for this. We're going to grab that. But for this, what we're going to say is underscore texture. We're going to say equals the texture dot get texture. That's it. That's all we're doing, is grabbing the texture. We're putting that in. So that's that done. That's these two methods done. Let me comment these bad boys in there. So it's just no return type, just parameter. No return. Parameter, no return type, and there's two variables. Okay, so what we're going to say now is what is this? It was set the sprite texture from a file. We're going to say file path, and this one is reset rect location of image to be applied. That's fine. And whether or not the sprite, the texture rect could be reset, default set to false. Okay, so if we copy and paste this, and we're gonna say texture now, and it's gonna say another texture to be copied onto the local texture. Set the sprite texture from an existing texture object. Okay, so set texture rect. So if I was to just do this, obviously we don't want that bar, so I'll actually peek at the code for this. So if I go to what was that method called again? It was called set texture rect. Okay, so this is what it is. So we say if rectangle, oh, that's what we passed in, doesn't equal the local texture, but again, you know what is, because obviously we don't really need to do this, we can just pass this over into this method, but I don't want to add an int rect. I want to add something else, and then we'll form the int rect from it. I'm assuming you get 4 values, x, y, then width and height. That's what I'm assuming what it is, but I'm just going to confirm before I start, you know. We got our video pop up. Let's have a look. Our video might be of some use. Back in the days when we were doing the intros, just get back straight into the code now.
Obviously, it's best to be.
Oh, it needs to calm down a bit. Okay. Intro, here we go. Yes. So you just need left, top, width and height. Left, top. Okay, width and height. Okay, left, top, width and height. Left, top, width and height. So we could either just have 4 variables, 4 integer variables, 4 integer variables. So, or we could potentially have some sort of vec. Because if we look, we can do a glm vec for. So these are float based, and I'm not set them. I'll Google it. glm vec for integer. ivec4, that sounds like it. ivec4 we'll literally use that. So we're gonna say, so we will say we are gonna, I want that there for now. I'm gonna comment it out and put const ivec4 and put glm, put rectangle, and in the comment itself for the param I will put what it is. And if I create the implementation, and if I was to say, int rect, all I'm going to say is rectangle dot how do you access the values again? GLM vec4. If I just get a vec4 implementation, I should be able to just figure that out. Should be the same for the other one. Okay, so why is the value to access? Is it WXYZ? Yeah, that'll be XYZ, I'll bet you, but so let's peek at this code. Go to that's declaration. I want to go to okay, so okay, so I think it's WXYZ, or if I put W, and let's say if I was to go to definition of here, XYZW, that's the way it'll be RGBA, STPQ, so it's what XYZW. That's the order that they are set. XYZW. That's all I want to know. Swizzler. Yeah, okay. XYZW. So it's X. X. Y. Z. W. That gives us no errors, and now what we actually want to do is go to underscore sprite dot set texture rect. It's a shame we can't just pass that in. We should just be able to pass this in. Should just be able to do that. That's the set texture rect done now. Okay, so we'll grab this one, delete the one parameter from here, and paste that here. So we're gonna get rid of this. Okay, so I'm gonna do set texture, not set texture rect. Yeah, I just wanna. Okay, so set the sprite texture rectangle, and we're gonna say rectangle. Vector 4 of integers. I mean, I'm trying to think, is that a better way to do it, or should I use just the 4 values? I might just implement both methods of it. Okay, a vector 4 of integers. No, what was it? What was it going to do? Top left? Or what it was? Open up this. So it was left, top, width and height. Left, top, width and height. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is copy this, and instead of this I'm going to put const int left. Okay, so left top, width, height. I'm going to put left top, left corner x value. This is top left corner y value, rectangle width, and this one should be pretty simple. Height, Paul say that, thank you very much. Rectangles height. Okay, so let's just create an implementation of this method like so, and we are going to copy and paste this there, but we're going to replace all of these with just the variables that we've got. So we're going to say left top, width and height. Literally that's the only difference. So that way we have both options. We may, I think a lot of the time I'll probably just use this implementation that I've just done where there's 4 different variables. The use case of this one is maybe we get a vec4 or ivec4 of it for return from something else, and instead of taking individual values out of that and making it cumbersome into this, we can just pass that in directly. That's more the use case for this one. At least that's what I have in mind at the moment. There might be different ones we actually get onto it. Give it a quick build. It's more just to save the files than anything else. let's continue with this. Okay, so get texture. So we've done that one. So get the texture. Did the Sprite have the method? Must have. If I would have copied it over. Get texture. Okay, yeah, that makes sense to actually have that. Ooh. So for this, what we're gonna say. Oh, how was this returning it? Just returning the texture, literally returning the texture. Now I'm thinking, should I get rid of the SFML texture in here like entirely? Just have our own texture? Let me try that. Let me try putting texture underscore texture. So if I was to comment this out, this will no longer work anymore. Or will it? Technically it still works. Dot get texture. Don't we have that method? Dot set texture? No, it's dot set texture. So we can just get the texture now. I wonder what that's moaning about. No default constructor this way. Do they need one? Oh, nothing exists for this. I got it, yeah. I got it. So we can either do, yeah, let's just do, create some class, some default class constructor, texture. Default class constructor, and we'll implement this here. Create implementation. Ideally want this to be before. Okay, so this is no line, so you'll be there. Now I want that there. Okay, so if I go back to the Sprite stuff, I shouldn't moan about that anymore. Let's just gain a local copy of it, of the get texture. Seems a bit, heavy, I would say. So instead of get texture, I'm gonna say const, like so. Const, like so. Why is that moaning now? That's why it's moaning. What are you moaning about now? Let me have a quick look at the way they was doing it in Sprite. Nah, they're creating a thingy as well. Might as well make this into one of these bad boys. No, it's not working. It's not working because I'm not using the right. And this needs a new line. And this needs to say underscore texture equals new FF texture. Same with this line here. Okay, so I guess the texture must have a pointer type. So what's get texture? That's what it's returning into there. Don't see what the problem is. Nope, messed this up royally. Before I forget, let's just release the memory. Let's just say delete. I won't confirm that's the only thing I need to do. C++. Free pointer. I don't need the brackets. Delete. Do I need the free keyword? Okay, just delete. Okay, so we haven't done any malloc stuff, memory allocation, so we should be all good. Cepha said something, but it got deleted. No, in offense. Actually, I can't, see it really. So, yeah, it is what it is. And I'm gonna say. Okay, so this is still moaning here. So we need a texture. We're getting the actual texture itself. So I don't see why. So that should return get texture. What does get texture return? Return the pointer to that. Is it because I made it into a const? There we go. Okay, so don't know how messed up this potentially could become, but let's have a look. home in says arrow. Okay. I will need to be wrapping up the live stream very soon. Okay, so yeah, I was trying to fix this. We got an error here. So again, the texture. That's that fixed. I'm pretty sure it's not ampersand. Okay, so we do need to implement get texture as well. Create implementation, and this is going to just do a simple return of underscore texture, I guess. And it's going to get rid of the const. And now let's make this into an asterisk. That should fix that error. Now we'll get a bunch of other errors. We need to say underscore texture equals new texture. So okay, so we're also going to free up the memory. Say underscore texture. No, I'm going to say delete dot, not dot, underscore texture. Okay, let's do the same thing for here. Okay, so this is like so. Shouldn't need this anymore. Should just be able to do this. And that's gonna be what's in the texture stuff? Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. We just want to be able to do a straight over copy of it. Wisma Putra says, good stuff. Okay, so let me give it a quick build. if I just did this, would that still work? That still would not work. Okay. So I think it's mainly these things that I need to solve. Folixon says hello, hello Folixon. And okay. Hello to Wismer. I'm pretty sure I said hello, but in case I didn't, hello. Got it incorrect. I'm forgetting the texture. That should be pretty simple enough. But should we implement that there? We'll implement that. Because the rect stuff is in here. Of course I answer you. stuff, the texture rect stuff. It's gonna pop to the toilet, so I will be back in a second. I am now back. Okay, so get texture rect. So if we were setting the rect, I mean getting it ideally saying that don't need to overcomplicate this. We just do IVEC for GLM. Let's get rid of this. My brain's turning here. I'm getting to know it a bit better now with everything that's going on. Okay, so if I was to just do the get text, have we implemented even get texture? Apparently no. We have. Okay, so let's do a comment on here. So I'm going to say get rid of these three, and actually no, it's the parameter one. With return type and no parameters, that's the one. Output returns the Sprite texture object. Get the texture object, simple as that. Okay, so if I was to create implementation for this, first time we actually won GLM once they've done the create implementation thing, because it kept adding it automatically. Second, I just want to check some message. So Okay, so here we're gonna return an IVEC4 GLM, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna create it from the sprite.get texture rect dot, it was left, wasn't it, first? Left top width height. Left top width height. Okay, so that's quite a bit, that is there, so I'm just going to put this on a new line, whack that there, left top width. Okay, so getting the bounds, again, that's the same thing, so instead of using it, so we're going to say vec4 this time, because that is just a regular float. Okay, so what we're going to do is put, and we're going to say create implementation, create implementation. So if this, so all we need to do is return a GLM vec4, and for this we're going to say, and you know what, we'll just copy and paste this and just modify this. So we're going to say vec4, so the get texture rect is going to be get local bounds, and it is it left? Dot, it is still left. It is still that. Okay, so we're just going to replace that, and with that, and with that, local. Do the same for this one right here, but instead of local, we're going to do get global bounds now. Not get. Whack it all on 1.9 now. Okay, so now that we got there, let's give them a quick comment now. Yep, copy that. And I'm going to say get the textures rectangle, return the sprite texture rectangle, get the textures local bounds, and copy and paste that, just do something similar for global bounds. Okay, so if we build it, okay, so it builds now. Let's just give it a quick whirl. Obviously you shouldn't actually see anything because, you know, we haven't really tested it yet. So what we're going to do is get rid of this, and we're going to put here this one. Sprite for the class. Okay, so we're gonna say give that a build. Nothing should not work. I wonder if we're actually ready to use it. So the one thing I want to change is, so not change, I want to add. So we should already be including the sprite. So now I'm going to put the texture just in case we want to be able to access the texture stuff. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So I'm going to remove these down, this one down. I like them to be in order, unless there's a reason they can't be, but shouldn't be in this case. Okay, so give that a build again, and now we're going to go over to here. We'll create it directly in here first, because actually, does the player class already have something like that created? No, we got no sprite created. Okay, so we're going to say sprite. Let me check that the debug for resources. No, we already do some sort of loading, but that is in the physics world, I believe. That's using SFML stuff. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we get, let's just comment all this out like so, and if I give this a run, let's get rid of that for now. Let's get rid of the rectangle as well. Let's go to splash state. No default constructor available. Yeah, it has to be like that, don't it? That's fine. So I'm going to say that. And then in here we're going to say new, no, not new, I'm saying sprite equals new sprite, and from here we need the data object. We need underscore, we'll put underscore data, that makes more sense. And then we're also going to put the file path potentially. Let's put the file path. Let's put it resources / hello.png, whatever that is. Hello.png. Okay, so hello.png, and if I run this, it should run, but we shouldn't see anything. That's fine, that is the way it should be working. Do we have a draw method implemented? I don't know if we do. We get the shapes, but apart from that we don't get, that's fine. Okay, so dude, Yeah, there should be a draw method. It should be inherited from the drawable class. Okay, so we should simply be able to say sprite draw. Does this need anything? It should not. So let's see what we get. So nothing has appeared that I can obviously see. Let me change this to say box instead, so another image. It's still not appearing. Assuming the position, this position is even set correctly. So if I do sprite set position x and y, let's just put 100 100. Let's see what happens if I was to do this. That image does not exist here. Should give us some sort of error, but yeah, failed to load image. That's good. So it is loading the image. Now I'm thinking, does the texture still exist? Okay, so we've got new texture. So we're using this one. New texture. Set texture. Is it something to do with this that is messing up? It's hard to tell. We've done a fair bit, because remember this was meant to be split into two parts, so I'm going to wrap up the stream now. Build that. Okay, and we'll fix this later on. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. This was an earlier stream than usual. It's a great way to see, you know, how many people tuned in. Obviously, I think the people are different as well. So, you know, so it was available to different people, so which is good as well. So I'm going to end the stream. I'll be doing 2 new streams later on. One about 3-4 p.m. UK time. That will be basically the part 2, because this essentially was the stream that I missed yesterday. We'll do technically today's stream later on about 3-4 p.m. UK time, and it'll just be the game engine stuff, part 38, and you part 2 of the sprite and texture class. And we will do another stream after that about 5-6 p.m. and that will be for the gameplay, so Spider-Man gameplay. And thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing everyone later on.